Hi, and welcome to the first ever episode of my podcast, Peace and Love Always. I want to start with getting the appreciation out of the way and thanking you for clicking on this episode and listening to this episode. I truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, from the entirety of my heart, thank you and appreciate you for having a little bit of curiosity to see what I have to say and what this podcast is and what I'm doing. Because I am someone who is very private, and I don't really share what I'm doing. I kind of just like pop out with something and I'm like, oh, surprise. So thank you for clicking on this and playing with your curiosity and seeing what I'm up to now. This is my latest project. If you know me, you know that I have my own YouTube channel, and I have been inactive on my YouTube channel just because okay, well, let's just dive into the podcast, I guess. But the way that this podcast came about is because I have been not really feeling like doing YouTube, I'm going to be honest. It started to become more like a chore than doing it out of love and doing it because I want to and I get to do it. I kind of felt like I had to do it, and kind of drained me at times. And then one day, I remember I wanted to do something new because I previously, for my YouTube videos, I would write out the script and then go based off the script and film the video. And one day I had a thought of recording myself talking and going over the script, and what originally was only supposed to be 5 to 10 minutes max turned into like 25, and it was so much easier, and I really liked talking into my phone, and the idea of doing a podcast became more prominent in my head. It's definitely an idea that I've had lingering around for the past couple of months. I just didn't act on it, unfortunately, but it was definitely in my head. I am someone who likes to think, definitely a thinker. Sometimes it kind of bites me in the ass because overthinking is a thing. And it's not the best, let me tell you. If you overthink, you know, it doesn't really feel the best sometimes, but YOLO. We live and we learn. Uh, but I like to think, and sometimes I think and know that my thoughts have some value and some insight, and I like to help people unlock this different version that they have that resides in themselves that they have not been introduced to. I like to help people think differently. I like to help people think better about themselves. I like to help people realize the potential that lies within everyone, including themselves. And that's really why I want to do this podcast. I want to be an inspiration to people so that they can go forth and inspire their lives and inspire others, and we can keep this little cycle going, and we can make the world a better place by doing our part, and you know, peace and love always, hence the title of the podcast. But I think I'm going to title this podcast Let This Be Your Sign, because I want this podcast to be centered around what I have been going through these past couple of months. And let me just dive right into that because, well, been a lot. You may be able to relate if you are someone who has felt very stagnant at times, if you are someone who feels stuck in life, if you feel like you don't know what direction you want to go in, you don't know where to start, you don't know what to do, you have all of these ideas, all these thoughts, all these goals racing in your head, you don't know what to do. You don't know. You don't it's just constant I don't know. And being in that state, I know what that feels like. God, fucking sucks. Let me just tell you right off the bat, not the best. It's very emotionally draining. It's very mentally draining. It can even be very physically draining. But I really want to center this around what I have had with this experience and what I have been learning in this little dilemma that has been lingering in my life at the moment. I was, well, there were many nights where I was in my bed, all cuddled up, journaling, letting my thoughts out, being who I am. And the one thing that I was constantly asking for was clarity. I didn't have clarity in what I was supposed to do next regarding my career, regarding anything in my life. I felt like I didn't know what to do. I felt like I didn't know what the next step was. I felt like I was not on the right path. I felt like I couldn't even see the path anymore. And for me, this hit me very hard because I was always someone who knew what they wanted to do with their life, knew what kind of impact I wanted to leave behind, what direction I wanted my life to go in. And when you start to see that vision slip from your fingers, when you start to realize that you are playing with the idea of doubt and uncertainty more than with the idea of clarity and motivation and discipline and being driven and going after what you want. Oh my God, it felt so painful. Like it felt like I lost my spark and I lost the essence of what kept me going and what had me feeling like myself and what had me excited to wake up and to go to bed and what was fueling me. To have that leave and to be in a state to where you don't know what you want to do anymore. You don't know what direction you want your life to go in. You feel like your purpose or your dreams, goals have slipped away from you and you now don't know who you are anymore, and you kind of have a little midlife crisis and you're kind of like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? You start to compare yourself. You start to become your own worst critic and break yourself down in any way you can and just hit rock bottom. Like truly, this was rock bottom for me. But I was constantly asking for clarity, answers, something. I was constantly calling out. I needed something. I needed some reassurance because I was lingering in this state of numbness. Emotions were suppressed, okay? There was no clarity, no drive. There was almost like a little depressive state to where you you don't know why you're doing what you're doing anymore. You don't even know if it's worth it anymore because obviously it hasn't been paying off. And I just remember one day when I was asking for this damn clarity that did not want to come to me, I had to remove myself from the emotional state that I was in and look at my situation and the position I was in logically and ask myself truly and be honest with myself and kind of slap myself in the face a little bit. How do I expect clarity and answers and all of these things that I want to find me when I am lingering and staying in this low vibrational state, the state that clarity does not want to come to? Clarity does not want to swoop down and come find me in this state. These things that I'm looking for, I need to pull myself out and place myself in a position to where these things can come find me. And I remember when I had that realization, I couldn't stop thinking about this podcast. And it's almost like any little sign I had reminded me, and any little thing I saw reminded me of this podcast and why I need to act on it and why I actually need to go forth and do something with it instead of having this idea in my head and eventually letting the idea die. And I think it's so easy for us to forget that you need to place yourself in a position to where the things that you are constantly wanting can find you. If I got clarity in the state that I was in, I was not gonna be able to appreciate and acknowledge and recognize the importance that that clarity was gonna have in my life at the moment. It wouldn't have felt like enough. And I almost kind of had to go through that. And I almost kind of had to appreciate and let myself linger in there for a little bit so that I can come out of it and understand and bask in the clarity whenever it finally found me. Place myself in a position to where clarity can find me and become the person who is also ready to receive that clarity and not take it for granted and feel like it's not enough. Because I promise you, I probably would have felt like whatever little sign of clarity that I got of what I had to do next was not going to feel like enough. And I was going to be constantly asking for more instead of appreciating what I was receiving at that time. I had this idea. I had this goal, right? There's a path that I have to take in order to go for that goal and to reach that goal and to get to the destination, right? You're driving your little car. You're on the highway. You got a destination. You got somewhere you want to go to. The only way that you can truly get to where you want to go to is by moving, is by getting up, is by doing something, acting on the thought that you are having in your head, acting on the goal that came to you one day that you truly felt that you could accomplish. Putting yourself in a position to where clarity can make its presence known in your life. How do you know that that path is the one you want if you're not willing to walk down the path? How do you know that that goal is the goal that you truly want if you're not willing to work and go after the thing that you want? And sometimes in life, we can think we want one thing, and when we sit down and go for it and actually move and try to go in the direction of that goal, we might realize that in the process of us going after the things we want, there was actually another thing that we truly wanted. And the thing that we thought that we want wasn't for us. But the only way you get that clarity and the only way you get that understanding is by moving, is by doing something, is by not being paralyzed with fear, doubt, shame, guilt, and by actually going forth and moving in the direction of the things that you want. I would have never known if this podcast would be something that I was actually liking, something that I actually wanted to do, if I didn't sit down and actually do this podcast. And so here I am now in my closet, on the floor, my computer, and my mic, and I'm filming this podcast. And I'm willing to go down this path and see if this is right for me. And if not, I also know that me going down this path can lead me to go down other paths that are going to get to the same destination that I want to go to. I think sometimes we forget that we are the main character in this movie that we call life. We are the ones driving the car. We are the ones who have the potential and the willpower to go forth and get the things that we want. And one of the strongest battles and the strongest and the hardest fights that we will ever face in life is the fight that we have with ourselves, because it's truly unexplainable and it's hurting when you know you have the capacity and the ability to do something, but you don't move in that direction. And some people linger in that, and some people don't ever move past that. And some people rather play the victim card than take back control of their life. And that's fine. That's not for me. But that's fine if you want to do that. But don't expect to get the things that you want to get if you're not willing to put in the work that is required for you to get the things that you want. Dreams and goals only die when you don't decide to act on it. And the fact that you are having a thought, you are having a goal or a dream in mind, it's not a coincidence. Nothing in this life is a coincidence. You're having those thoughts for a reason. God is placing those thoughts in your head for a reason. It's truly up to you whether or not you decide to act on it. And if you don't, you know what happens. And if you do, you know what happens. So after months of me not acting on this goal and idea of starting this podcast, I finally decided to do so. I feel like I was constantly waiting for the right time or the right moment to act on it, which in turn is not fair to me or this goal. And I want to inspire you and ask you to do the same. If there is something that has been lingering in your head, if there's an idea that you've had, if there's a goal that's been in your mind, if there's something that has been piquing your interest, act on it. What's the worst that can happen? The only way you're going to get clarity and the only way you're going to know if that thing is for you or not is by acting on it, is by moving in the direction of what you think you want and seeing if that thing wants you back. But place yourself in a position to where luck can find you. Place yourself in a position to where clarity can find you. Place yourself in a position to where your goals can find you and become the person who is ready to receive the things that you want. Your dreams and goals are not magically just going to fall in your lap while you just sit away on the couch and doom scroll or whatever. It takes work to go after the things you want. And that's pretty fair, right? Because, well, if it were easy, everyone would do it. Obviously, everyone is not doing it. And the choice is up to you whether you want to be everyone or not. Don't ever forget that you have the ability to create and accomplish anything you want in this life. The possibilities truly are endless. So I will leave you with that little inspirational pep talk here at the end. I truly want to thank you once again for clicking on this video, listening to me talk for 20 minutes. I feel like this is probably going to be one of the shorter episodes because I do like to talk sometimes, and it's kind of nice when nobody answers. But thank you once again, truly from the entirety of my heart. I really, really, really appreciate it, and I will hopefully see you in the next episode. Thank you once again. Bye.